Shalom. Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Shemakakwadash. Giving all praises to Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Shemakakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video Reincarnation. And the top Christian scholars know that Elijah came back. So we were speaking Saturday. There was an individual that came out, stayed with us for the whole speaking, a little bit more than 2 hours, and we went into the topic of reincarnation and kind of messed his head up. So I said, before you leave, you will understand reincarnation is a biblical concept. So we went to the normal. There's a bunch of scriptures you can go to without going into Elijah, but the best route to go is to go the Elijah route, because you can't get around that. So I did this before. I did topics on this before, and I'm doing it now because the subject was spoken about, talked about on Saturday, or brought up on Saturday, and Apostle Ramlov had did a video on that dealing with reincarnation. And these all the scriptures that pretty much cover it. Well, Luke 1:17 is a good one. This now Luke 1 verse 17, which you can see right here. Vocab Malone, we had did a back and forth with Vocab Malone on YouTube. I would do, like years ago, did a video on reincarnation. Vocab did a counter saying that reincarnation is not biblical, but then he kind of admitted that Elijah did come on the scene, but it was John coming on the scene in the spirit of Elijah. So that's not actually Elijah. Well, it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 14 that the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. The spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. So when you read about these prophets, they keep coming back, and all Israel comes back, and Esau comes back. That's the only way you can justify Esau going into captivity, because you have Edomites that say, well, that was my foreparents, that wasn't me. Yeah, but you were that person. Not exactly that person, but you were back there. So, if you say, well, my people put people in slavery, well, you're those same people coming back. And once they understand reincarnation, it messes them up. So this is Cambridge Bible for schools and colleges, and I may go to a couple others because they know it, but they don't use the word reincarnation. I don't believe they use the word regeneration. I could do word search. I'm making a word find on that. But in a roundabout way, they know that Elijah came back, but they don't say it. They see it, but they, it's like you see something and you see it clearly, and you're afraid to say, well, I just saw this man floating in the air, something like that. But then everybody turns and they look and it's not there. And then the guy, well, I actually saw it. They're going to look at you. So you kind of say, well, let me not, speak on it. I'm not even going to bring it up because you don't think I'm crazy. So that's the same attitude they take with Malachi 4 verse 6. And you said I was standing my lot at the, matter of fact, I'm going to go to that. Daniel 12.13th verse. But go thou thy way till the end be, but thou shalt rest. Rest meaning you're gonna, that's in Isaiah 57, first couple of verses. They shall rest in their beds. Samuel told Saul, why disquieteth me. I believe he used the word rest. I'm not going to go to it. Somebody can put it in the comments section. It says, but go thou thy way till the end be, but thou shalt rest and or sleep and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. We know rest means sleep. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. We just put in rest. Okay, it's 275 times. So this is a good one. Psalm 16, verse 9. Therefore my heart is glad and my glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. Isaiah 57, verse 2. He shall enter into peace. Let me go to the first verse. The righteous perisheth, which dies, that no man lay it too hard. Merciful men are taken away, die, none considering that the righteous is taken away from evil to come. And evil means bad time, from destruction to come. The ones of us that are men of the Lord that are on this earth, we will be beamed up, so we won't suffer the evil to come. He shall enter into peace. That's why Samuel said, why disquieted me? You know, he was rested. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. But you don't break the law. You don't commit sin in the spiritual realm. Back. New Testament. And there's a account of the little girl, and the Lord said, "She sleepeth." She was dead, but she slept. He rose the little girl from the dead. Acts 20, verse 26. Therefore did my heart rejoice, and my tongue was glad. Moreover, also my flesh shall rest in hope. Sleep, die, spirit separating from your body. Right here, the rest is talking about the kingdom, where we're going to truly rest. Okay, let me do this. Sleep. Okay, let me do sleep it. Sleep it. Let me try this. Ever be with the Lord. I thought sleep was in that passage. Well, asleep. Those who died in Yahushua, meaning those that did the work. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep. Asleep meaning that died, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep, which are dead in Yahweh Shai will the Most High bring with him. So when the ships come and deliver us, the first ones that's going to be delivered are the ones that died in Yahweh Shai in his work. Rahab is going to be risen up, and he's going to go back. He's going to have a new body. The change in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye at the last trump. He's going to be like a 20-year-old individual, a young man. You're going to see Masha, King Masha, Yaikwab, Elder Yaikwab, and any others of them that these are important men. And then you're going to see many others, other Israelites that were in the faith that died. They're going to be raised up. We're going to see them get beamed up first while the missiles are on their way. And everything's going to happen super quick. And then once they are beamed up, we're going to be beamed up with them. We of the hopeful elect. That's why it's important to give diligence to make that calling and election sure. Because if you are of the elect, which means you're going to endure to the end, you the same shall be delivered, saved. For this we say unto you by the word of Yahweh, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of Yahweh shall not prevent them which are asleep, which are dead. For Yahweh himself shall descend. And this shows you that the Apostle Paul, the apostles prophesied. You know, they go to the prophetic books. Hey, the books that, the letters that Peter wrote were prophetic books. The books that the Apostle Paul wrote were prophetic books. For Yahweh himself shall descend, come down from heaven with a shout and the voice of the archangel and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead which are asleep in Yahweh Shai shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up. That's where Esau gets that term rapture. Rapture is not even in the scriptures, but rapture just means to be caught up. Laquak in the Hebrew. Caught up together with them in the clouds, which are the ships, to meet Yahweh Shai in the air, and so shall we ever be with Yahweh by Shema Shai, because that's the kingdom. And then we're going to come to New Jerusalem in Revelation 29, 21. John saw the New Jerusalem coming from heaven. That was that great gigantic ship. And the Jerusalem are the people inside of the ship, the Israelites, the elect of Israel. Then we're going to take the whole world over. So I just wanted to go into that. So now let's come back over here. So we know that Daniel said he's coming back in his light, in his position. Daniel, as a prophet, is not going to come back as a manager at a fast food restaurant. He's not going to come back as a Baptist preacher. He's going to come back in his light. He's going to come back. One of us has to be Daniel. One of us is Jeremiah. One of us is this prophet. The other one of us is that prophet. So anyway, let's go into this Cambridge Bible for schools and colleges. It says Elijah the prophet, the reading of the Septuagint. When you see LXX, which means 70, it stands for the Septuagint. Elijah the Tishbite has been thought to indicate their belief that the actual return of Elijah to earth is here foretold. So they're telling you right there, they know that Elijah is actually coming back in the form of a man. Some have traced the same belief in the appropriations by the son of Sirach to the literal Elijah of Malachi's description of the work of the coming prophet. Malachi 4, verse 6. The fathers and the children are the ones that got it, starting with, King Mashar, High Priest Ariel, High Priest Yaquab, and the rest of them that woke up. They were there. We're the children of our fathers. We're the children of our fathers. So Elijah went to the fathers or the children of the fathers, because they were here many times. It says, and let me see, it says, and he shall turn the heart, the mind, the spirit of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers. The heart of the children to their fathers are them, because we descended from the prophets. That's what it means. Now it says here in Sirach, click on it. Let me read the Septuagint. It says, who was ordained for reproof in their times, to pacify the wrath of the Lord's judgment, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Before it breaks forth into fury, the fury is the destruction, the Armageddon, and to turn the heart of the fathers unto the sons, and to restore the tribes of Jacob. See the word restore? So this is not talking about the fulfillment of John. This is talking about the fulfillment of Abba, who was ordained for reproof in their times, to pacify the wrath of the Lord. In other words, the Lord getting ready to do something, you calm him down. You calm down, Lord. The Lord's judgment, the ultimate destruction. That's why John told the wicked scribes and Pharisees, who told you that you were free from the wrath to come? Because they're back here, the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they're back here ready to eat a missile before it breaks forth into fury, which is the destruction, and to turn the heart of the fathers unto the children, and to what? Restore the tribes of Jacob, the 12 tribes. At first it was 13, now it's 12. And that's why we have the sign. That's why there's such a big controversy dealing with that sign. Let me do this. Verse. Give me a second here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start from the 7th verse. Ecclesiastes 48, verse 10. Context, in context. King James Version. Who heardeth the rebuke of the Lord in Sinai, and Horeb the judgment of vengeance, who anointeth kings to take revenge. And we're going to be the kings that's going to take revenge, and prophets to succeed after him, who was taken up in a whirlwind. It's talking about Elijah, of fire, a ship. And that this makes more sense. You get messed up on the horse's part in Kings. They say who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire. That's a ship. UFO, she can understand. And in a chariot of fiery horses, horses represent power, who has ordained for reproof in their times to pacify the wrath of the Lord's judgment. Because this destruction is not going to come unless John the Baptist came on the scene, Abba came on the scene, the disciples, the apostles came back on the scene. The charagma has to, and the charagma is in the works. It's already here. And you other camps, you other major camps, IUIC, ICBK, I don't understand why you can't see it. I don't know if you got the bag. I don't know if the Most High just blinded you. I don't know what the deal is, but it's right here. The prophecy is right here. Just like talking about Alexander coming on the scene. They knew Alexander was going to come on the scene. When they saw him, they said, that's Alexander. The high priest, I forget his name. Somebody put in, that goes into the history. I believe his name was something, Judah, Yahweh, that was in his name. And Alexander saw him in a dream. And Alexander didn't do anything wrong, bad to Israel. He kissed their ass, gave them gifts. They can keep their own laws. He didn't tax them because he saw that these people were of the Most High. And matter of fact, he even knew how to read and write Hebrew. So he knew that we were that powerful nation of the Most High, because the priests showed him in the scriptures. He went into the book of Daniel. He said, "This is you. This is you. This is talking about you." He took him to Daniel 8. It said the king of Greca, and before the king of Greca was the Medo-Persians. It speaks about the rough goat, and the leopard in Daniel 7, and he explained it to him, and he saw it. Now remember, he was raised up. Alexander was raised up under Aristotle. You look it up, and Aristotle was a Jake. And one of his top fighters, general, whatever, top captains, was and this cabal is Apostle Cabal is going to this name Cletus Melis. That sound like a Jake name. Cletus Melis, meaning melanin. Cletus Melis. You can look him up. Matter of fact, I'll do some research on him myself. Because you had part of Alexander's army, vast army, you had Jakes. Before it break forth into fury, and that fury is getting ready to come in our lifetime, and to turn the heart of the fathers unto the son, and to restore this restoration didn't come with John. Jake knew that they were Israelites. He just opened up, cleared the way for Yahweh Shai. This part, when it said, and to restore, that's when he came as Abba, because we didn't know that we were Israelites. We were so-called black, Negroes, African American. Well, we weren't even African American at that time. We were colored at that time. Then you had Islam, but then you had the commandment keepers. Out of the commandment keepers, Abba broke off, and then he went into the New Testament. And that's why the focus is on the one Westers, because we're going by what the Spirit working on Abba. We're carrying that tradition. It's to restore the tribes of Jacob, right? To restore all things. I'm gonna get into that. Blessed are they that saw thee and slept in love, died in love, died in truth, for we shall surely live. And I read that in the New Testament. Elias, it was who was covered with a whirlwind, Elijah, and Eliseus, which is Elisha, which I believe that's high priest Ariel. That's just my personal belief. And I told him that years ago, and that went over his head. He got his eyes opened up, you know, like it made all the sense in the world. And then Marshall was sitting right, King Marshall was sitting right next to him. He said, "Don't tell him that, because it's gonna make his head bigger than what it is already." It says, and well, I told the seven that Samuel was Abba in the spirit, and they didn't say, "No, you're going off." They kind of gave me that look. Remember when I came into the first couple of weeks, I came to the school. There were pictures in the back of the wall, and there was a picture of Abba Bivens and High Priest Ariel sitting next to him as a 12-year-old man, because you become a man when you're 12 years old, not when you're 20. You're part of the army of Israel when you're 20. You become a man at the age of 12. That's why the Lord said, "Don't you know I must be about my Father's business?" Because he was, as a term is bar mitzvah, son of the covenant. So when I saw the picture of Abba, I said, who is this? Elijah? And then it got back, somebody had told Ariel, he said, see that new brother right there? He looked at Abba, he said that looked like Elijah. And Ariel gave me that look, oh my goodness. And Elisha, all right, was filled with the Spirit. The Spirit's not in right now, but in time, if he is who he is, the Spirit will come back on him, or he'll go in the spiritual realm and he'll be raised up and he'll finish his job when he come back to the earth. Whilst he lived, he was not moved with the presence of any prince. Yeah, Elijah did his own thing. Remember, the king sent a captain in his 50, and he said, "If I be a man of the Lord, let fire come down and destroy you and your 50. Then I believe it was 3 times. I'm not going to go all into it. But the last group, the captain, he said, "Man, I ain't trying to get set on fire." And he worked with him. He didn't come like a military. And that's what that means. It says, whilst he lived, he was not moved with the presence of any prince, any king, because prophets move that way. As the Lord would say, prophets move that away. And we was doing our own thing, man. There was a point where I wasn't even coming to the councils, and Ariel told, "Look, if you don't come show your face, we're gonna have to take your rank." I said, "Well, go ahead and take it." And Ariel said, "Man, just show your face more, But I was going in the spirit that the Most High was on me, right? See, these guys, these other brothers, these different camps, we don't keep in contact with them. Hey, when Texas, and it was Texas, D.C., and Baltimore, the brother, damn shit. Man, I can't even, forgive me, I can't even remember all of their names. So, getting old. But there was a bunch of them. Ahashiyah came up from the south. So it was a bunch of them that came. Atlanta, the brothers from Atlanta came up. And, we saluted them, and that's it. It wasn't no big thing that happened, And plus we were sick anyway. But I'm not, look, let me call Dallas, see what's going on. Let me call this guy. Let me call California. No, they're in the spirit. The spirit's on them as being prophets. When we get together and when we're really cool with each other is in the kingdom. Right now we're on the spiritual battlefield. So y'all might look at us, with indifference. We're not exactly buddy type people. We just doing the work. Our thing is, look, I don't talk, man. If I talk to Apostle Gabar in 1 month for 5 minutes, that's a lot. Only time we get in contact with each other is for like the spiritual business. We don't get on the phone and kick it, and that's just us. It said, neither could any bring him into subjection, because the spirit of the Most High was dealing with him, just like the spirit of us The Spirit is dealing with us. No word, he was not moved with the presence of any prince, neither could any bring him into subjection. No word could overcome him, and after his death, his body prophesied. And that also happened with Samuel. Samuel prophesied even in death. He came back in the spiritual realm. So now where am I? Let's come back over here. Okay, do this. So these precepts that the Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges put together, right on point, right on point. Like I said, these commentators are either hit or miss. And this goes clearly over the head of Vocab Malone because he's just a baby in this thing. You're a baby in this game. You ain't on no deep spiritual level. And forget about your followers. They're just gone. Okay, some have traced the same belief in the appropriation by the son of Sirach to the literal Elijah of Malachi's description of the work of the coming prophet. We just read this. Though it may well be doubted whether the passage proves anything more than his acquaintance with our prophecy, the belief, however, was certainly current among the Jews in our Lord's time. Yeah, they understood reincarnation. Matthew 17 and 10. Well, Mark, I got to go to Mark. Let's go to Matthew 17 and 10. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elijah must first come? When he said Elijah came and they did whatever they listed. But he said, but he's going to come again and restore all things. So when did the restoration come? When Abba came on the scene, not when John came on the scene, because they already knew that they were Israelites. So Mark 9 and 11. And they asked him, saying, Why say the scribes that Elijah must first come? Showing you that those scribes, the doctors and lawyers of the law that understood, followed prophecy, they knew that Elijah was going to come back. John 1 and 21. And they asked him, What then? Are you Elias or Elijah? And he said, I am not. Are you that prophet? And he said, No. Why did he say that? Go and watch the video that Apostle Ramab did dealing with bringing all things to your remembrance. It wasn't in his remembrance, but it was in the Lord's mind because he's the Lord. And he told him that's John. Even John the Baptist even doubted his cousin whether he was the Messiah. He knew he was the Messiah when they locked him up, get ready to chop his head off. He said, Is this the one, or should we look for another? I don't know if this is the guy. You know, he doubted. Did that make him not a man of the Lord? No, he doubted. Nor does it follow that the belief was unfounded, because he himself distinctly claims the prophecy for John the Baptist. And not only John the Baptist, the restore all things part is talking about Abba Bivens. Identifying him at the same time with the messenger foretold by Malachi, Matthew 11 and 10. For this is he whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger, which is John the Baptist, and also Abba before your face, which shall prepare your way before you. That's when he came as John the Baptist. When he came as Elijah, He came to what? Restore all things. Now, the Apostle Ramlab kind of went off on that, and I corrected him right there. It was no big deal. He said, yeah, you're right. You're right. Like he caught himself. But that's all right. It says, that's why I do everything with 2 or 3 witnesses. And if you will receive this as Elijah's, which was forth to come. Can't get around that. Matthew 17, 12 to 13. But I say unto you that Elias is come already. That was John, and they knew him not. They didn't acknowledge him as John, but have done to him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer them. And it goes on to say that he will restore all things. It said the prophecy had a first fulfillment in the Baptist. Right, so they know that. These Christian scholars, they're saying, it said the prophecy had a first fulfillment in the Baptist, John the Baptist. So they understood based upon this statement right here. They said the first one. So they know that there's going to be a second one, pursuant to what our Lord said in Matthew 17. It said, who went before the face of the Lord, Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, in the spirit and power of Elijah. That's Luke 1:17. What does it mean by the spirit and the power of Elijah? The spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. The Apostle Paul was a prophet in his past life. The Apostle Peter was a prophet. The Apostle James was a prophet. The Apostle Jude was a prophet. It says, in the spirit and power of Elijah to do the work here described. Luke 1:17. And he shall go before him in the spirit and the power of Elias. The spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. So the spirit that was in John is the spirit of Elijah coming back in another body. Beethoven came back as Stevie Wonder. Wolfgang Mozart Amadeus came back as Prince. And that's always been in my spirit. To turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. And who are the fathers? King Mo and them. And the children to the fathers, same people, because we come back as our children. Was that Exodus 20, verse 4 or 5? You're going to pay for the sins of your fathers because you were your fathers in another life, in a past life. And the one, the movie Coming to America, the first one, this guy, Eddie Murphy and this dude, Arsenio Hall, they were meeting different women, the black women, and all those women are real. You got all them wacky ass women. You got the conscious woman, you got the Hollywood woman, you got the twin, the hoes, you got the big burly woman, and then they had one woman that said, she had a cigarette lighter under her hand, and she said, I was Joan of Arc in a former life. Well, guess what? Joan of Arc is here. We don't know who that crazy bitch is, but she's here, or everything is reincarnated, man. King Henry VIII is here. All of them is here, man. The hearts of it says Elias to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. That's talking about when Abba came on the scene, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. It wasn't talking about when he was John. I have to stress that. It's talking about now. So King Marshal, High Priest Ariel, High Priest Yaquab, and the rest of them dealing with the 7-2, High Priest Shaw. Those men are special men that came back. And then you had the rest of the 7-2. Now, what is the Most High going to do to them? That's up to the Most High. In one sense, he was Elijah, which was for to come. That's reincarnation right there. The only answer to that is uh, what is it? St. John 1. That's why they even asked him, "Are you Elijah?" And he said, "No." Why? Go to Ecclesiastes 1. It said to the it says, but Elijah, which was for to come, but in another sense, and on his own confession, John 1:21, he was not. Oh yeah, he was not, because he didn't remember former things in his past life. That's why the Lord said that was him, because that was the Lord. But the prophecy awaits a second and wait a minute, for the prophecy awaits a second and, as some believe, more literal fulfillment. So what is the Cambridge for Bible in schools and colleges are saying? They're saying that this he's got it, he came back. They're telling you he came back as John. So if he actually came back as John, he's going to come back again. So the question is, who do you come back as? He came back as Abba Bivens. That's why Vocab Malone is obsessed with Abba Bivens. He found a book that Abba Bivens wrote that we don't even know, that Ariad Moden didn't even know. It said more literal fulfillment, see, as some believe, more literal fulfillment, and as the typical Elijah came before the Messiah's first event, and they knew him not, but did unto him whatsoever they listed. So before his second advent, whose second advent? Now we know that the Lord is going to make a second advent, but Elijah is going to make his second advent as Abba. That's Abba, no doubt about it. If you can't see it, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakaka Kodash is not dealing with you. Point blank, period, end of sentence. His second advent, shall another Elijah come? So it's a question. And shall restore all things. So they know, but they can't say it. Anyway, I think let me go through this. Ellicott's commentary for English readers. Elijah, there is no more reason to suppose that this refers actually to Elijah the prophet, and that he is to appear upon the earth. So they know it, but they can't see it. Then to imagine from Hosea 3:5, it's talking about afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek their King David, because King David is here. He's in the spiritual realm, but he's going to be lifted up in the ships. Ezekiel 24:23, I'm not going to read that. Ezekiel 37:24, Jeremiah 39, Jeremiah 39. See now, Jeremiah 39 mentions the time of Jacob's trouble, and it goes into detail. But they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will rise up to them. That David himself is to come again in the flesh. So if David could come back in the flesh, Elijah could come back in the flesh. When John the Baptist answered the question of the deputies of the Sanhedrin, art thou Elijah? But I am not. He simply gave a negative reply to their question, because he didn't know. He was telling the truth, which was formulated on their misapprehension. On the other hand, that John the Baptist is the messenger, Malachi 3:1, and the Elijah of this verse is shown conclusively as far as Christians are concerned by Luke 1:17, coming the spirit and the power of Elijah before his birth, by Matthew 3:1-12, Mark, I'm not going to go into all these. At the commencement of his ministry, John's ministry, moreover, our Lord himself assured the people that John was this messenger and Elijah. They're telling you that they know that there's a thing called reincarnation. Matthew 11:10, Luke 7:27, and his disciples that had appeared and not been recognized. Matthew 17:11, Mark 9:1. Finally, it is a significant fact that these two greatest of Old Testament prophets, Moses and Elias, who were mentioned together in this last prophetic exhortation, are the two who appeared with the Messiah on the Mount of Transfiguration, when all that which is contained in the law and the prophets was about to be fulfilled. So they know. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of these comments, but commentary. I just wanted to put that out there. With that, let me say shalom.